What's been going on in South Africa? Let's talk about it. Several South African grassroots political and social organizations have come together and announced June 30th as the deadline for all African immigrants to remove themselves from South Africa. But how did we get here? In South Africa, African immigrants have essentially been blamed for the economic woes that South Africans face daily. A higher and rising unemployment rate amongst the youth and amongst the labor force in general, a high income inequality that also is on the rise, and a tougher and tougher access to jobs. According to a study done in 2022 by the World Bank, South Africa is the world's most unequal country when it comes to wealth inequality. The wealth gap in South Africa is huge. The top 10% of the population own 90% of the wealth. So essentially, the World Bank points to apartheid as being the real historical root for the wealth inequality in South Africa today. And a lot of the problems that the South Africans claim the African immigrants are really responsible for. The legacy of colonialism and apartheid have a direct correlation to the wealth gap and the economic woes that South Africans face today. The wealth gap, 10% of the population owning 90% of the wealth, is a direct reflection of the colonial economic system put in place in South Africa. A small percent of the people owning majority of the resources and wealth. The apartheid policies put in place after colonialism. The Bantu Education Act barred black South Africans from receiving the same quality education that their white counterparts received. Not having the same level and access to jobs, the same quality jobs. Not being able to have the same level of health services. These policies put in place during apartheid have a direct impact on the access to jobs of black South Africans today. A lot of these policies from apartheid didn't even begin to get reeled back until Nelson Mandela became president in 1994. These policies that were put in place during apartheid have a strong effect on the determining factors of wealth inequality. Instead of the black South Africans using the African immigrants as a reason for their economic woes, they should point their frustrations towards the government. Their frustrations towards the people that can undo the colonial legacy, the apartheid legacy, and the apartheid policies. Only then will the unemployment rate lower, where access to jobs for black South Africans become better, and the wealth gap